Welcome to the podcast, where we teach you how to create marketing that pops. Get ready for refreshing conversations with industry experts, trendsetters, and creative minds that'll leave you bubbling with inspiration. Get ready to turn up the volume on your business. Let's get popping.
Alrighty. Welcome back to Marketing That Pops. I'm Olivia.
And I'm Michelle.
And today we are joined with Kristina, the Director of Operations and Administration at Blackleaf, a cannabis SMS marketing solutions company. So, Kristina, welcome to the pod and thanks for being here.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm glad to be here.
Yes,
Awesome.
We're very excited to have you.
Yeah. We like talking to like-minded individuals, and since this is kind of like in our realm, we're excited for this one.
Perfect. I'm excited too.
So every episode, I was just telling you, we started off with a myth that we like to debunk. So this episode is no different, and I have one for you. So what would you say to someone if they said SMS is too hard to track and measure and that it doesn't really work? What would be your initial response to that?
That's a myth. But we have really great analytical insight that we've built on our platform that actually allows you to see the click-through on your SMS that you send. So we always encourage, retailers, businesses to include a link. And we can track that for you. We can track how many people have, converted then to a sale. So you can really see the nitty-gritty of how you are getting your ROI back on SMS campaigns.
I love that. We love the data and we like to get into the nitty-gritty. So knowing that is great.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about Blackleaf and kind of the story that is there and how it got started and what are all the services that you do?
Yeah, absolutely. So about 6 to 7 years ago, I was working at the time pretty well-known retailer, Showgrow, and we were pretty well-known in our communities, and we had a lot of loyalty and programs, and we were trying to see better data insights. We were using headset back then, and it just wasn't giving us all the granular insights. So our tech director at the time over at Showgrow, Bradley, he created this platform that, showed us our average ticket, just history of people's purchases, their behavior, their birthdays, just any sort of information that you would want to see in a snapshot, you could do, and you can really get creative and market towards those people, utilizing things such as, stagnant inventory. That was another piece that he really called out to. So I was a general manager at that time, and I was running the Long Beach location, and I worked very closely with Bradley to, reacquire, if you will, our customers. Back then everyone was kind of doing a big spend on weed maps, and it was about an average $80 to $100 to acquire somebody. But if you acquire them, how are you keeping them? That's the main thing. You got to keep them. So we started pivoting and focusing on less acquisition funding and more retention funding. And SMS campaigns really showed to be fruitful for us. Fast forward a few years later, retail companies, the owners, they split, they divide, they get bought out, what have you. And Bradley was able to, spin off and make this tech company on his own. And then he reached out to me. I want to say it was right after COVID. Showgrow had unfortunately not been able to do events anymore. That was a big shock at the time in the community. So I was available. I was on the market. I updated my LinkedIn. He reached out to me, and we've been working together again ever since. And just recently, actually, he asked me to be president of the company. So,
Oh,
yeah, thank you so much. I was very honored, and I'm excited to continue to work hand in hand, together and just make everything digestible for retailers and give them the tools and resources that they need a fair shot, to have a good, sustainable, operable business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How would you say that you compare to like Alpine IQ or Springbank? Is that
yes.
what you're going to ask, Olivia?
Yes.
Yeah, so definitely those were, the bigger dogs, if you will, the main competitors in our space. Our key differentiators are we don't require annual contracts. You can try us one time, and if it's not jiving for you, then, you're free. We don't lock you into crazy things with a lot of overhead. For our registration package, it's $99 a month, and then whatever usage fees per message. So again, it's kind of going back to just making it available for everyone to be successful in this industry. There's enough barriers and complications. We just want to give everyone a fair shot to access good systems, good marketing, all that stuff.
Yeah. I've noticed, and I don't know if this is any different for you guys, with those like bigger platforms, they've had to like scale back like the customization that they've been able to do within like their SMS. Have you guys noticed, or has that been the problem that you guys may have been acquiring as well?
So right now there is a little bit of I don't want to say pushback, but a little bit of hesitation because we are required now to be fully registered to send text messages. Yes. And so all unregistered traffic is blocked. And that's what people really used to like was the unregistered portion of it, because you could directly send your cannabis flyers. Now we've kind of rewritten our playbook to, be within the good compliance guidelines. Like compliance is always first,
Yeah.
And so we're just getting creative with like landing pages. So, everything is link gated. Customers do have to click a link. They do need to verify that they're them either by age or receiving a code. And so we're just really having our customers get really creative with that landing page messaging and making more of it enticing, like really engage with your customers, get them to want to click that link.
Yeah. No, I've noticed that around like basically just across the board that some of the different providers have just been kind of hunkering down on what you can and cannot do when it comes to like the messages.
Yeah. And if you send a flyer, like, so say you're a registered brand, and if you send a flyer or imagery that has cannabis, they're watching. They will find out. And they will say, hey, you can't do that. So, we're playing by the rules very fairly. And this is what we've always wanted, All the other regular, unregulated businesses can send text messages. So let us.
Yeah. How do you feel like, I feel like you kind of answered this a little bit, but how do you feel like your Blackleaf approach might be different than some of the other platforms? I mean, I know that you guys can do like targeted campaigns and like more tailored. Can you kind of get into what that looks like a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So I would like to first call out that the biggest like distinguisher is, we came from retail. We created ourselves within retail. So that's something that a lot of tech and software don't necessarily always have. Sometimes they do have those grassroots. But, going back to like the segmentization of purchase history or what have you, you can get really creative. So we also, have our inventory report card where it could track, hey, this pre-roll has been in stock and, it's sold 5 times. We could then tag it and say, let's run a promo on that, and then there's your SMS blast. So we really tried to make sort of an all-in-one sort of retail, just dashboard, health check, monitor. The only thing that we don't do is like we're not a point of sale company, but we do have e-commerce, we do have loyalty apps and things like that we can do for people, and we can easily integrate with any software, any POS. Really, we just need the keys.
Okay. Yeah. So, are you able to segment and do marketing automation through your platform?
Yeah, absolutely. Pretty much, whatever bucket you're looking to kind of capture, we can do. So, some of our clients have a BOGO on, Uncle Arnie. So they want to know in the last 180 days, how many people have purchased Uncle Arnie's. You can also do conversely, let's say you want to get people that have purchased other edible drinks. Maybe they might be interested in Uncle Arnie's, things like that. You can go as wide or as narrow as you'd like to.
Cool.
I know you kind of talked about this, but what are some good promotional campaigns that you've seen to be pretty successful? Whether that's, doing like a multiple of things, like maybe it is like they're sending a flyer, maybe they're sending pictures. What are like the biggest promotions that you've seen have been like pretty successful campaigns?
Yeah, definitely. If dispensaries or brands are really aware of what's selling, their top sellers, they can obviously, segment for that. But just even win back campaigns, hey, we haven't seen you purchase in 30, 60, 90, whatever amount of days. Here's 500 points added to your account. Please come see us. And, that 500 points could be $5 off, whatever. But, those are really successful retention and win back campaigns that we've seen a lot of, generation on.
Do you guys offer anything where it's like an abandoned cart feature where, like, let's say you leave something in the cart and they're like, oh, hey, we saw that you were shopping with this. Here's get an automated message to continue shopping.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we can, set up what we call like trigger messages. So whether it's like a abandoned cart or somebody's made a purchase and we text you a receipt, and then it also has a CDA with a Google link, please leave us a review. That's really awesome. We see great success on our receipt campaigns. If we have turned it off for one of our clients just to, do a quick little case study. And in about a week, they maybe got 3 to 5 reviews in that week. Once we turned it back on, they got 3 to 5 per day. So, yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I've noticed because I work with some of the dispensaries that if that's not always an option on all the platforms that abandoned cart feature. So that's really cool that you guys have that option. And I know personally, for me, just shopping, I forget that I am shopping at all these different places, and you forget, and you're like, oh yeah, I did have that in the cart, and you want to check out.
Yeah, I do that all the time too. I'll be adding things to cart. Sometimes it's just like for therapy, like retail therapy. And then they email me and I'm like, oh, no, I'm not going back. Sorry.
Yeah, that was just for fun. I don't need that $500 bag.
Yeah, really.
So looking ahead in this industry, where do you see like some changes or like SMS kind of evolving with the cannabis industry? Like, do you see more emerging technologies that you guys might have in the works, anything like that?
Yeah, definitely. So right now we're being good players with the registration and sending out texting, but we're hoping that, over time, 6 months, maybe a year of being good players, they'll allow more normalized, marketing and promotional stuff to be sent out. That would be exciting. And we're just working on dynamic imagery as well. So the messages that you need to send out today need to be very generic, right? So just maybe like your company logo or just like, hey, you have a new notification. What we can do on the image is say, hey, Olivia, we haven't seen you in a while. Here's 500 points on that image. And then, when Michelle gets it, it'll be like, hey, Michelle, happy birthday. Here's 500 points, if it happens your birthday that same day. It would just all pull in from whatever is on the POS in your system and on their customer profile. And we can get really creative, and personalization is key.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you guys have, I guess within your messages, do you have the option to do kind of like those customized tokens within the message? Like, because, sometimes it'll say like, hey, and then it'll be like the dispensary name. And
yeah, absolutely. So we can do that in the actual SMS section as well. And then that can match your image that's sent out.
I've noticed when sending messages that I get a better response rate when I include someone's name within the message. So I think that's always really cool to be able to add that.
Yeah, I think a lot of us are prone, and as we should be, to, have our own personal spam filters. And
yes.
When texts are kind of wonky, even when they do say our name now, we're kind of like, how'd you know my name?
I know. I didn't give this to you.
Yeah. But as our brain, digests information, like, oh, it's the place where I shop, what have you, things like that. All those personalizations help to create a sense of reassurance for everyone.
So considering your journey and like the insights that you've shared, what's like one takeaway that you would give to like someone about effective communication and like basically fostering those connections with like within the cannabis industry? And it could kind of like translate to any business.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this industry is very, very special, and networking and communication and connection goes almost further than it would in other industries, just because of the grassroots and the holistic nature, where everything started, medicinal and everything like that. So just really like hearing people's stories, like how did they get into this industry? Why are they here? Things of that nature. It's really rewarding. And I feel like being in this industry, I feel personally like making positive impacts and like giving back, like we're promoting, a plant. And so people are getting happy and healthy. And so, I can feel good about that personally at the end of the day, and the company I work for, we're small, we're scrappy, but, James is Bradley, he's such a great colleague. I couldn't be more grateful to be in this industry, honestly.
That's awesome. I love that.
Do you work with brands as well? I know like some of our other platforms, they will sponsor a campaign for the different retailers, and then basically they pay for that campaign to go out versus the dispensary. Is that something you also work with?
Yeah, absolutely. So we do have some brands that utilize us. Cannabis is one. They are mostly online, but yeah, absolutely. Like you said, that's something that retailers could really take advantage of, and brands alike, is partnering together and getting customers in the door of, for their product. And then, retailers can then gauge and see, okay, yeah, they're covering the marketing costs, but is there, an attraction? Like, are people coming in like, maybe this brand isn't, what we want on shelves, or, maybe people don't even know that the brand's there. So doing like a new drop, or, hey, we have our reps and come talk, come learn more about the product, what have you.
Very cool. In terms of like your pricing structure, I do think it's quite different than the other platforms that we've used. Can you kind of talk about that a little bit? I know you said that it's kind of like you can basically pay as you go in the sense of like not being locked in, which is really nice. But can you talk a little bit about maybe like the breakdown between like SMS and then MMS?
Yeah, absolutely. So per MMS, that's, a multimedia little flyer attached to your image, that would be 5 cents each one. And then if you just want to do an SMS, that would be 3 cents. And so, when you send out right now we're encouraging people to do MMS because that seems to be getting through the carrier filters. They're still filtering even though registered. With the MMS, it seems to get through better. The only instance usually where you would get like a SMS is if your birthday isn't in the system and we need to text you a PIN code. But the system, it knows, it'll be able to see what method to go to. So yeah, it's per use for that. $99 a month to keep your brand registered with a campaign for texting. We also have, fully marketed and managed texting for you. So we could create your flyers. That service is $4.99 a month. And you would just tell us your deals. We would work with you to create a flyer, what have you. We also have a loyalty app that you could add on. That is $2.99 a month. And that would be an app that you could utilize for up to 5 locations. So you could have, a Long Beach version of that app, LA version, what have you. And that's pretty it. We don't have any sort of like messaging package tiers or anything like that. The more you send with us, it won't get more expensive. I know some companies will do like, you have a package of 10,000 SMS a month or what have you. If you go over, then you have all these overage fees. If anything, if you only, well, first of all, you wouldn't even sign up for like a package like that. But, if you told us when we're onboarding you, oh, I'm going to be sending, 50K messages and you send 1 million, we're not going to charge you more. You might even get like a volume discount,
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
A lot of the places you are right. Like the more you spend, the more you spend. So yeah, that can kind of like start to dig into your pockets a little bit. When you were talking about like the landing pages, do you guys send is that for every SMS and MMS message that you send that you would send a landing page, or is that only for MMS?
It would be for both. Yeah. So if you chose, to just send an SMS, the link would still direct you to that landing page. That's just the process that the carriers are requiring right now.
Okay. Awesome.
What about, I know the other platforms will sometimes add an option for an app, like a mobile app, and so that you can do more like in-app notifications and things like that. Is that something that you also offer?
Yeah, so our app is more focused on like e-commerce. But yeah, we can definitely utilize push notifications and things of that. Apps are sometimes a little bit tricky because you do need a DNB number. And, sometimes when you're in cannabis, it's hard to get that. So apps are sometimes not the best route for companies, depending on what your LLC name is.
Right.
Oh, yes. I've run into that too. That's something to think about when businesses are starting. Really think about your name because it has cannabis in the name. You kind of SOL.
Yeah, there's some brands that we are surprised that we have gotten registered as, we have. So it's exciting, it's a little a dip of our toe in the water.
I know, it's like it's kind of we're getting through. Awesome.
Do you have certain issues with certain states that maybe are a little bit stricter than others? And like, are you in all states, or where exactly are you able to, I guess, be?
Yeah. So as far as like states, I don't believe that it, is granular as far as like texting. It's just as far as like regional. So like the whole US. Any of our customers that are in the US, they need to follow these regulations. However, we do have a Canadian client, and they're still texting in the wild, wild west, and they're excited because again, the Canadian carriers, which are the same, are not requiring up there in Canada or other locations. We have clients, across the US, Massachusetts, New York, Illinois, all that good stuff. Vegas. So yeah, we can text pretty much anywhere.
Great.
I know that there are some options that you guys have for like affiliate programs. Do you want to kind of talk about that a little bit?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So we have like a really great referral program. If anyone refers Blackleaf and they get their person to sign up, they get a commission of half a penny on every single message that they send out. And we'll send you money for that. Yeah, who doesn't like
That's
money?
awesome.
Exactly.
Right.
I think that sounds like a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And you don't have to be like a current, Blackleaf customer yourself. You could just be yourself, Olivia, and be like, hey, I interviewed Kristina and I think she has a good product. You should check her out.
Oh, I'll be doing it. I'll be trying to get my half a pennies.
Those half pennies add up when we're spending in the thousands.
Yes, absolutely. Especially with you guys' structure that you have going on.
Yeah, absolutely. We're really trying to utilize our APIs right now to collab with POS companies and utilize, order notifications and things like that. That's kind of a messy process. There's not maybe one dispensary that's doing it great. So, can help the industry as a whole.
Absolutely. That is one of the things that we have run into with the dispensaries. I was actually just talking to my client the other day about, if they have an order available or somebody makes an online order and maybe it's just sitting on the shelf waiting for them to be picked up. And, at the end of the night, they got to like unpack all those things and put them back if they're not picked up. So well, that is one of the things that they want to be able to do is to send a text reminder like automatically. That would be great.
Yeah. And we could probably even set up a trigger, like, hey, this order hasn't been cleared out of the system within 2 hours. Like auto trigger a text to be sent out. Hey, did you forget your order's here?
Yeah. People forget that. Crazy. Yeah. I wouldn't, but
Right. I know. Other things I might forget. That no.
Yeah. Not when I'm spending money.
Right.
Okay. Well, I think you answered all my questions today. I'm really excited about this platform, and I think that this could be a great help to so many different dispensaries, and it seems like you guys are already helping so many out there already. Where can people find you on the internet if they want to get in touch with you?
They can find us at blackleaf.io. We're on LinkedIn. We're on Instagram. All blackleaf.io.
Nice.
Awesome.
I like that you guys were able to get that. Some people
right? I know.
Right.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you guys for listening. If you are interested, make sure you reach out to Kristina, or you can reach out to us, and we'll refer you to her.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
And as always, thanks for listening, and we will catch you on the next episode.
Awesome. Have a good day.
Thanks for listening with us today. Stay tuned for the latest in web marketing and design from ThrivePop. Want to be a pop star? Head over to thrivepop.com/podcast to join our mailing list for episode notifications, sneak peeks, listener feedback, and more.